One of the questions that we've received and is always asked is a question regarding the millennium. There are lots of teachings about the millennium and the end times, and so this question is, what are those teachings?
Well, there are lots of teachings about it, and the idea of the millennium, let's start with the Bible. It comes from Revelation chapter 20, where John has this vision of heaven, and he sees that Satan is bound for 1,000 years. Now, different people have interpreted that in different ways. I'll give you three main ways. One is what is called premillennialism.
By the way, 1,000 years is a millennium, just so we're clear. That's the connection.
Exactly. So one of them is called premillennialism, and this idea is this, that Christians are going to be taken up to heaven before Christ comes back to reign after a short time of intense tribulation by Satan, 7 years. Another view is called postmillennialism, which basically says that everything in the world is going to get better and better and better until things turn out perfect and Christ returns. Now, the view that we hold here at Concordia and a lot of Lutherans all over the world hold is something called amillennialism, which basically means this. The millennium is a symbolic period of time to describe the loving way in which Christ rules and reigns in his church. And this kind of makes sense because when you see the number 1,000 in the Bible, it's pretty much always used as a symbolic number. Peter says with the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. It's symbolic. Or the psalmist says, God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. It's symbolic. And when you see 1,000, especially in a book like Revelation, which has lots of symbolism, it kind of makes sense to interpret it as a symbolic number.
You know, the thought is that when it comes to the idea of the millennium, there are many different teachings, and it's easy to get caught up in. The teachings are compelling. The people who write about them have all kinds of arguments and basis for what they say and what they believe. But here's the foundation. The idea of the millennium is secondary to our faith in Jesus Christ. It's not our primary doctrine. It's not the primary doctrine of the Bible. And so that's why the amillennial view seems to fit most beautifully with Scripture. Our focus is on the reality that Jesus has promised to return. When that time will be, no one knows. How to predict it or tell for sure, no one knows. But we trust in Jesus Christ, and we know that when he returns, he will be returning for us in his glory and with his love and grace and mercy.
The great thing that all these views share in common is that they all end with Jesus. And this we know, he's coming back for us.